So it's been a long journey. And I realize on my channel that even the people that know my story the best, most of them don't understand the spirit behind me. So this is going to be the beginning of my reflections upon my life that I've been going through over the past 4 months in my solitary confinement in Las Vegas. The history of ProfessorShaun, Part 1. I hope that you enjoy it. And there'll be a lot of more stories to come after this. Individual stories, individual people, individual circumstances. My life is a life of crime, a life of women, a life of money, and now finally a life of peace. I have been broken over and over and over again. And I'd like to start about talking about my early years, because probably those were the most normal when I was real little. I was born in Brooklyn. To a single mother. Mainly raised by my grandparents for the first year and a half. Eventually, my mother met my father, that I think of as my father, my stepfather. And about 5 years old, we ended up moving upstate New York. So, forest, Appalachian trails. It was beautiful. Lake Carmel, later Poquag. 45 minutes to the supermarket. No internet, no cable. This was about 1982, 1983. Everything was okay. My brother was born when I was about 4 years old. He was a baby when I started going to school, about 6. First, I went to school when I was 4 to kindergarten, but I just cried all day, you know? So they waited until I was 5, so I was 5 to 6 in kindergarten instead of 4 to 5, whatever. But about first grade, when I was 6, that's when the Tourette started getting really bad. I had a lot of tics. Mainly I would move my shoulders and bite the inside of my mouth. I still have some tics, but they were really bad when I was a kid. And the schools didn't know how to handle me. My peers would mock me relentlessly. I started to gain weight at a rapid rate, so now I was fat and had Tourette's. The best thing they could do was figure out to put me with the mentally challenged kids, although I was extremely intelligent. And that's when I began to rebel a little. No one was coming to help me. My parents had me enrolled in an experimental program by Yale Child Study Center for Tourette's children to study them throughout their lives. And I became a test subject, going to New Haven and getting EKGs and EEGs and all kinds of psychological and intelligence tests. everything all the way down the line. While my Tourette's continued to suffer no matter what they gave me. There really was not a lot of widespread recognition at the time. I started shoplifting, getting into trouble at school, fighting. Meanwhile, video games and going out into the forest were the only things that kept me sane. Final Fantasy, Dragon Warrior, role-playing games. They weren't too numerous back in the day. But I played strategy games even as a child. Nubagana's Ambition, look that up. Really intense for an 8-year-old, but I figured it out. I wanted a computer so bad because I was always leaning towards those more in-depth strategic games, but every time I'd save up a little bit for a computer, something would happen. When I was 8, my sister was born, and the added responsibility of that, plus my poor behavior, plus my Tourette's, plus my parents' struggling finances and business. I imagine they had a lot of stresses on them at the time. However, they were not the best parents, to be honest. Even though I was disabled, they would still expect me to take care of myself completely. It was part of the Generation X experience that we got. Latchkey kids, they called us. You know, I probably didn't see my mother or my father until dinner time every day. You know, I would wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make myself some cereal, and sit in front of the TV without cable and watch the only thing that was on at the time, which was Good Business This Morning. I started really following business stuff at a very early age. I loved the stories of the businesses, how they came to be. The people behind them. And then if I wasn't out at that bus by 6:30, all alone, at 8, without having seen a soul, getting up to my own alarm clock, there was hell to pay. Later on, there'll be individual stories about these times, crazy stories. But that's the beginnings. This went on until I was sent away at 11 to my first institution. They didn't know how to handle me, so they figured something was wrong. Well, that's where we'll leave off for now. Try to keep these under 10 minutes apiece. But if you watched this long, thank you, and I hope you watch part 2 when it comes out. That'll get into the institutional years and the tortures that I endured in those facilities. You know, my life does have a happy ending. You've seen it on my channel. But I want to let you know how I got there and who I am after it all. Welcome. Please like and subscribe.